Why hello there, elves and orcs, dwarves and humans alike. Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, and today we're going to talk about drawing the eye. So I'm going to go through this by drawing the eye from three main views, and that is 3/4 view, front view, and side view. So let's get started right away with the 3/4 view. One of the main things I learned about drawing in the eye is that the structure is so important. So what I'm doing, I'm laying in here the basic structure that the eye is going to sit inside of. And I think you can see it start to take shape. Here's the center line, and then this is the brow coming over. The next thing I'm going to draw are these eye sockets. Actually, no, the next thing I'm going to draw is this. This is an amazingly important landmark. And that's that little part of the nose that kind of dips in before the nose pops out. Okay? I'm not talking about the nose too much in this video, so I'll probably just leave it like that for the remainder as like a placeholder. But that's very important. And what happens is when you come off here, see, now you have where the nose is placed. And you want a little bit of space between the edge of where the plane changes to go into the eye area. Give it a little room and then come in with the eye socket. Something like this. Now what I'm doing here is that the eye socket comes out more, and then this is the eyeball inside, which really is quite big. It comes out all the way over, like, you know, kind of like that. And then here you can see where the pupil would be. Same thing's going on this side, but remember this is on the inside, so that's over here. And then this is the eyeball right there. Boom. It's important to line things up. And that's one big thing that I'm learning, not just for the eyes, but in the face in general. If you just line everything up, it makes all the difference. It really brings the face, even if you don't draw the face well. Like, watch, if I draw a little cartoon face. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, alright? Now what if I was like this, and now what if this eye's a little bit higher, you know? What if the nose isn't at the same angle? It's a little bit sideways. I mean, this just looks like it's more amateur and like you don't know what you're doing kind of thing. If you just line everything up nicely on the same angles, it really makes a big difference. The other interesting thing is that there's this thing that comes around the eye. It's almost like a donut. So let's call it the eye donut. It comes around like here, this eye donut, and it puffs out like this. Okay? And one of the interesting things is that here it's flat. And that's why it dips in like that. See, the eye donut comes around like this. And underneath here. But right here it dips in. It doesn't stick out. And the reason scientifically for this, I believe, is so that you can see peripheral vision. So you can see if an enemy is approaching you from the sides. But all around here and here is a protecting, like the eye is inside, you know, is like inside this crevice as far back as possible. And you'll see when I do the side view that, like, here's the eye like that, right? And then the brow is up here, and the cheekbone's up here, and it really is kind of almost cut out from the shape of the face and like sunken in. I'll make a better side view drawing about that later. Alright, and then you have the lids. The top lid comes over the bottom lid, and usually you don't want to accentuate, so see, this is overlapping. You usually don't want to accentuate the bottom lid too much, and the top lid usually overlaps the iris so that the pupil will be closer to the top lid, and usually the bottom lid just barely touches the bottom. So it looks like I made it a little big. And this is what little rules like that help with. So, I made the eye too big. Why? How do I know? Because I made this line isn't touching there, and unless they're looking really surprised, that's the way it's usually going to line up. So here, so this, look, I made it too big. This should come all the way up to there. Okay. Alright, and I'm not gonna like spend a lot of time rendering this out or something. I'm just trying to give you the basic tips. So when you see those like lines that when you're getting old or if you're tired, the bags under your eyes kind of follows this donut shape. Alright, and then you've got the little lid and then the eyebrow usually comes around somewhere around here, and then swoops over, and it into it. So it starts off on top of this donut, and then it ends off in it, and it kind of has this. You can feel this flowing shape. I'll show it more from the front view. Um, but there's a flowing shape from this corner to the top here. Look at that. So if I knock off the opacity and make it darker, I'll just go over this real quick. A little bigger so you can to clean up the lines a bit. Okay, there's that little corner, but you don't really need to emphasize that. And see, I'm not even going to close that bottom one when I'm doing the final inking. Okay. Just do that like this. Alright. I'm going to spend time on that. Oops. See, I made it a little too small. This should be a little higher. But anyways, I don't want to waste time on details because that's stuff you can work out on your own. But I just want to give you like all the major tips and stuff that I've come up with in this time. Alright, so let's just make the eyebrows. Alright, cool. Oh, another thing that's interesting is that this kind of goes off into the back here. I mean, there's this eye connects off, and then like you got the ear coming on, going on here, something like that. And I like this little shape because if the face is in perspective, so let's say like you're looking, it's more looking tilted, looking up. So these are the two eye donuts, and then this thing kind of points down like that, and you can use that to get. So right now it's all on the same plane. Maybe like I could have it pointing back like that a little bit. No, it's mostly on the same line. But when you're looking at different perspectives, that's a great way. Here's that little. Like it's almost like you're drawing eyeglasses, which is really easy. Okay, and it helps accentuate that direction. Another thing is that underneath the eyes, you got this shadow. The eyelid casts a small shadow on the eyes. These weird little small shadows are important. Obviously, this whole area is going to be in shadow, including this. Okay, that kind of there's a little bulbous area that kind of sticks out more here. So that might not be as much in shadow. I'm actually going to turn off the opacity. And then there's usually this little thing right here where the eye's coming in. Alright. The eyeball, oops. The eyeball's kind of like, the iris like that. And then the highlight, I'm going to talk a little more about the highlight, but the highlight might go something like that. Alright, obviously that's very messy, but just trying to share some tips that'll help you out. So let's move on to the next part. Let's draw the eye from side view now, since we've got an idea of the structure. So from side view, you're going to get something where, alright, let's draw the whole head to show how it fits. So you got some head looking like this, more or less. Okay, we're going to have it's been described, it kind of cut out of the eye. See, this is okay. So we had that structure going on. This right here is that right here. Okay, coming down the bottom of the nose. And I'm just going to leave it like that. So you got the eye socket coming in right around here. And the eye actually is in the back of the eye socket. Interestingly, it's all the way to the back, kind of cut out of this. And the eyebrow is all the way in the front. So there's this kind of like stair-step pattern that goes on. And let me just grab this dark blue color. So basically, you've got so you've got the eyebrow way up front, okay, and then here's the eyelid, and something like that. I'm saying let's just fill that in. So point is that the brow is out here, and the eye is back here. Now that's an exaggeration, but it's really important not to have the brow here and the eyeball out here, because it just doesn't make sense. There's this room, this cushion room, where the nose holds its own little form, like that, and then there's a little space, and then the eye. So you got to make room for that space and think of it that way. The other thing is if you like, yeah. Okay. So I'll leave it for that on like that for the side view of the eye, just really basic. That's the kind of main thing you need to know. Aside from that, it's basically just that shape, you know. You can do it all sorts of ways. Here's tilt it down more, you know, tilt it up more. And then the eye is just that. Boom. It's not that tough. Oh, the top lid goes over the bottom lid. And it's really fun drawing the face from side view because you don't have to worry about symmetry and stuff. So you didn't push the eyebrow long enough, blah, 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 blah. Alright, cool. I'm getting a little too crazy over here. So let's do the eye from front view. Then we can call it a day and you guys can get to practicing on your own. So the eye from front view, we've got this, let's do both eyes. Okay, there should be a space, eye distance between them, approximately. And then you got this, remember this shape? It's really good actually from the front too, because it kind of gives you this, you know what I'm saying? I'm not worrying about proportion or anything right now. If you're familiar with Fantastic Anatomy, you know we don't worry about proportion too much while we're learning to draw anatomy, because that can easily be added on and it kind of becomes intuitive too after a while. So actually I think I made this too high, but whatever, let's go with it. That's kind of in the Fantastic Anatomy spirit, to just go with whatever weird proportions come out and fill it out to see what kind of crazy character we get. So you can see I'm making these donuts. I'm doing it all light and crazy. Like, this is kind of like how I work on my own when I'm not trying. Okay, I'm just trying to get the basic idea in. I'm just trying to make some doodles, some sketch, you know, get my ideas out there. I'm not trying to produce a masterpiece. So I'm going to go straight in with this dark one now that I've got this basic, you know, framework laid out. And the thing that's cool about the front is I like to think about it like you can make this into that was 3, 1, 2, 3. You can do 1, oops, alright. You can do 1, 2. You can do 1, 2, 3, you know, 4. We could probably do like 2 to 5 different lines. On the bottom, you probably only want 1. At most, you know, 2. And you don't even want to connect usually at the bottom. And remember I said the iris, see I made it too small. Let's fill it out. Because we know that we want it to touch almost at the bottom here, and we want the top to be overlapped a little bit. So that'll give us a good shape. The other thing you can do, oh, I didn't make these eyes match. See, look, they're not lined up. And look how amateur it looks. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I guess for the sake of like, showing how it looks when it's more lined up, I'm just going to come over here and be a little more careful. It's not even going to be close to perfect, but I think you'll see that once it's lined up, it makes a tremendous difference. Right? Like this eye doesn't even look like that eye, but the fact that they're around the same size and level makes you feel like, oh, okay, whatever. You know, your eye accepts the differences or it's stuff easily. So you got this eyebrow lid above, and then if you wanted to kind of accentuate that, and I like this little nook. That's where it's this little, you can feel it if you touch it. It's hard to explain, but it's like the inside of your eye socket, and it's this area right here is darker. So there's usually like a major plane change here, and this part's darker, you know. I mean, all this is going to be darker. Oh, well, I don't have the right opacity. Alright, this comes over here, blah, blah, blah. And here's this flow I was talking about again, flowing from here, coming up like that, flowing from here. You don't want to draw this part right here, but you gotta, if you have that flow in mind, it's like an implied line, and it really does make a difference. Oh my gosh, I got 6% battery left, so I'm going to have to wrap this up but I think I mostly gave you guys the tips you need. Actually, I'm going to show you one thing about highlights. This is going to make your eyes look really pretty. So not obviously, there's a shadow in the eye that I talked about before. And then the highlight will be right below that. Okay, so like let's say the highlight's right there. Okay, and then there's another highlight, interestingly, right here usually. Well, I mean, there's a logic to this. Basically, the eyeball's like this. You've got, I'm exaggerating a lot, but there's the retina in the middle, and a light source comes like, let's say here. So there's going to be a highlight where it first hits, and where it lands on the other side, it'll kind of glow. So usually, so if it's coming from here, you're going to have 1, 2. On the opposite, if it's coming from here, you're going to have 1, 2 on opposites. So let me make this white. Oops. What happened? Like white. Okay. So that's 1, and then it's going to come here if it's coming from that direction. Here's 1, and it's going to come here. Alright, now I know this is really rough, and I'm just trying to get these ideas out quickly, but if you guys see this video and think you would prefer or would help you more if I slowed down and took my time drawing and like explained all these concepts more in depth, then let me know in the comments and I can do that. But mostly I've been trying to get like as much information in the shortest amount of time, because there's a lot of information about this and you can't study it all from one video, but I'm hoping I can give you a lot of good tips in one video. So I guess that's it. Hope you have an awesome day, and yeah, remember to shade in all this part. Like I'll do it really quick. Oops. Alright, I'm not going to shade in all that part. That looks horrible. Anyways, peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.